Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar that we're doing today with Tee Fore The Green, powered by InspireHUB. I'm so excited. I have two of my very close friends with me, Henry Munoz and Thomas Elledge of Tee Fore The Green. I don't think I said that the right way, Tom or Henry, but I'm doing the best that I can. Today, we're going to go through and talk about the product that you two are bringing into the marketplace. Pretty exciting. Excited to hear about the success that you're having and go through some statistics and all those things. So before we get started, let's just take a look at today's webinar highlights. I've already done some of the introduction of our speakers. We're going to just go really quick through some interesting tournament facts, and we're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about the tournament apps that you are making it so affordable for any size tournament. Why charity golf tournaments? That's really important for brands. Some use cases. We're going to talk about progressive web app technology, and then we're going to wrap it all up with some final thoughts. Good? Ready to go?
Sounds great.
Excellent. Great.
Fantastic.
Well, allow me to start off with introducing myself to anybody in attendance. My name is Carolyn Hart. I am the founder and the president of a company called InspireHUB. Our company has built a platform that allows any organization to spin up hub-based apps. I'm very excited to introduce to you the founders of Tee Fore The Green. It's one of the products coming into the marketplace that is, it's the InspireHUB engine that is helping make that go and grow. And so I'm going to let you two introduce yourselves, kind of talk about the product, how you two met, and all of that good stuff.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn, for the fantastic introduction. My name is Thomas Elledge, and I am the marketing professional for Tee Fore The Green. I had a great opportunity to share my love for golf with Henry, and that bore out an opportunity for us to create the experience we wanted for others as we participate in tournaments around our area and other areas. Henry?
Yeah. Thanks, Thomas. So my name's Henry Munoz. Gotta say the Munoz in it. But yeah, so I'm the golfer in the group. Thomas and I, we got together because we both love to play golf, and I'm a business owner. And so at the end of the day, we just love this product. We actually are users of the product. So I think that that's kind of what got us into, using the InspireHUB platform, is how much we love using it ourselves. And then when Thomas and I started going to golf tournaments, we actually really saw the value and the opportunity for the golf tournaments to use this product too. So super excited to talk about it with you guys.
Excellent. So let's get started. I know all three of us were kind of looking at these interesting facts that's happening around the nation as it pertains to tournaments. That obviously since COVID-19, right, there was just an explosion in interest in anything outside, and definitely golf. And we were taking a look at the demographics and really what's been changing. And I think one of the things that we all talked about was just the amount of, you've got your demographics. We know that golfers are, that key demographic that brands and marketers want, obviously, more affluent. They have some additional spending that they can be doing. So everybody wants to get them into their resorts and their hotels. But I think one of the things that really caught our eye was the fact that, according to the National Golf Foundation, that the percentage of women on the course rose to 25% in 2021. And that's really growing. And we know that that is definitely something of interest to casinos, to resorts, to the hospitality industry. Getting the women into the golf course is really important because they also are their target for wanting to get them into their facilities. And so that was a really interesting fact that we were reviewing recently together. So I'm going to turn this over to the two of you to talk about the tournament app. You know, why engage with the tournament app? What was the inspiration, if you will, to you creating this kind of off-the-shelf product that's now available for anyone who wants it?
I'll go and start. One of the things that I saw the value in was communication. I think that right now we've gone to several golf tournaments, and they're starting to get some more tech savvy on the golf tournaments. They have apps that show you, you know, the location and pin placements, things like that. But I think the fun part about it is really the ability to post and to interact with the actual app, as opposed to just going to it. I call it, so Thomas, to me, a website is much like a billboard. You know, it has a lot of great information, but it's really just a call to action for you to reach out to them. And at the end of the day, if you're running a tournament, you don't really want people reaching out to you, asking questions. When you've got a couple hundred people scheduled to be there, you can't handle that much activity. But when you have people posting, you have people communicating, you know, you can post things on the fly. That's the one thing that I really loved about it, was that, you know, as a person that is put on several events over the years for different situations, business events, parties, things happen, you know, weather changes or what have you. And being able to just quickly throw that on there, and then now you know that everybody has that information and they have access to it on the fly. That's pretty incredible. That's one of my favorite features about it. Thomas?
Well, think about the return on investment. As event planners, you want that return. You want people to talk about the product after enjoying it. So with the app being present at these types of events, people are now more engaged, and it opens up the opportunity for, in a non-traditional manner, for you to be able to share what took place. I mean, imagine your family is sitting at home, and you know, oftentimes you come back bragging about, you know, how wonderful you did, but think about them being able to actively participate with you during the tournament. So I think these types of opportunities are going to be just, the return on investment is just fantastic.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
somebody gets a hole in one,
all the golf widows, men and women, can now see where their spouses are at and what they're up to. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, you can see how
great.
close you actually hit it.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, and I think that's definitely that practical reason for having an app now, that it is something that, I mean, previously was just not affordable for many tournaments. Even larger events weren't wanting to invest the money, but now that they can have that, and certainly I think it helps solve a number of the challenges that tournaments are facing. Would you like to, you know, kind of just give a brief, I mean, the sponsors and the event organizers know this, but just kind of an overview of what's going on with the tournament challenges?
Sure, and I'll take this first half of this. If you think about the way sponsorships are traditionally ran in golf tournaments, in a charitable golf tournament for that matter, usually there's a couple of signs at each hole and so forth. But the fantastic opportunity, having the sponsors now be at the palm of your hands, being able to share what their marketing purposes are, and just keeping you engaged with their products at the touch of your hand. So I think you know, being able to have that availability now increases awareness for many sponsors now to directly engage with the golfers participating.
And I think one of the other benefits is the fact that you can have maybe those who don't belong to your members of your course that are attending the tournament. And now that they're engaging with your app, they're registering, they're interacting, you're going to be able to, in a really kind of low intrusive way, capture their contact information and continue engaging with them after the fact. And we know that that's something that all sponsors are really interested in doing. What I love about your Tee Fore The Green platform, and we're going to show one of your use cases here. We're going to show a couple actually, is the fact that you've created it in such a way that completely personalized to that tournament, right? To those brand needs, what that feels like. And certainly the use case that we have coming up here shortly was, I felt like I wanted to be at that tournament. It looked like so much fun. And you'll let us know where that tournament was, and being able to have that. And it was very customized. You could really tell that it was on brand for them. So this is the Turner Brothers Golf Classic, and I know that you were just talking about all the things all the raving reviews they were giving about having this experience, what it's about. So I'm going to turn this over to you and kind of talk about the entire experience from soup to nuts, if you will, and the benefit that I understand that the brothers, the Turner Brothers, are still receiving benefits from it. So I'll let you speak about that.
I'll take this one, T. So 100%, Carolyn. Like I was telling you before the webinar, was I got a chance to speak to Mr. Troy Turner, who reached out to us about the events that he hosts all throughout the United States. The one that you're going to see here is was done in Arizona. They had an amazing time out there, as you can tell. I was right there with you. I wish I was there. I love golf, and I love hanging out with other guys and just having a great time on the golf course. And like you said, these guys can go back to this hub and see all the great memories that they made out there and look forward to the next tournament. I think that's the most important thing that Troy is excited about, is that, whenever they go to his website, which he does have, it just talks about the event, right? But when they go to his hub, they get to see what happened last time. They get to feel it, right off the bat. When you open the hub and you scroll down, you get to feel the energy of the guys on the golf course. You get to see guys laying out. You get to see the food, which looks so good that they ate out there. And my favorite part is seeing the taunting and the just, poking at one another and just having a good time, And for me, if I'm trying to sell products, I want to be a part of that, right? I want to be right in the middle of all that. I want my brand, my pictures, my logos to be right there with them. And we were able to do that. We were able to put their sponsors on there, and his sponsors were super excited because, just like Thomas mentioned, in the past, all they have is these little billboards or little small signs that they put at each hole, and you hope that people see them, right? But typically they're on their way to the tee box and they're just going to keep on playing. But at our hubs, they get to see it right at the front end, and they feel very appreciative as sponsors of the tournament, that their brand is there, their logos are there, and that even the people were able to click on them and go to their sites, which was super exciting for them. So it just adds that value, more value to the product, to their sponsors. And then, like I was telling Troy, that helps him to go seek out future sponsors that say, hey, I want to be in the middle of all that also. I got a chance to research a quick bit, and Carolyn, I'm sure you know this, is that 15 minutes or 15 seconds is really 15 seconds is how long people typically spend on a website. And I can tell you right now, I can't spend 15 seconds on this hub. I've got to go through it, look at all the different pictures, see what people are commenting on. So it just brings a level of energy, excitement to utilizing a hub versus any other platform. So that's kind of what I picked up.
Yeah, Henry, and I also want to add to, the digital experience platform is a word I like to utilize for these types of engagements, because it's not just an app or a traditional website. It really creates an experience.
Yeah.
And that's what we're wanting to provide you and others, the digital experience around the InspireHUB technology.
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn?
Yeah, a couple of points that, just in our conversations as we were watching this experience unfold. I mean, the amount, I think that every person who participated in the tournament must have been posting, because the posts go on. And I mean, it was like I thought there was a competition, and it wasn't. They were just excited to see themselves on the homepage of the event. And of course, the sponsors behind the scenes are seeing all that activity. Tell our audience a little bit about the private networking channel that you lit up, because my understanding was that was huge for the brand, but even more so for the tournament members, because at the end of the day, you want to network with everybody, but usually you're relegated to the end. But it was actually happening throughout the entire event.
100%. And that was actually something that I was a little bit nervous about when we first talked about it with them, when I was mentioning it, because again, I'm a business owner. I love networking. And but just like Thomas and I, we're both terrible with names. And you get stacks of business cards from people. Most of the times when you're on a golf course, people don't have business cards with them, so you're trying to get their information. So I thought of like, what can we do to make it to where everybody that goes to this tournament can have somewhere to get everybody's information? And so but when I reached out to Carolyn about this, she said we can make it a private channel. I was like, that's awesome. How does that work? So when we put it together, it was incredible. Each one of the people that attended the tournament had to request permission to go to the private channel. And then once they request permission, we had the freedom to either give them permission or not. And once they had permission, they were able to see a full list of everybody that attended, their phone number, their email. And again, we want this private. These people all know each other, in some way versus passing by them or what have you. So having that ability was so huge. I know I would have appreciated that if I was at a golf tournament and I ran into a guy, but I can't remember his phone number. I didn't have his email. I would have loved to be able to have somewhere I can go to. So us being able to do that was so huge. That was a great headline point, Carolyn.
Yeah, and I think so, Henry, as you mentioned, to just having that opportunity to network, but from a platform perspective, the ability to capture that. So as people are filling out the entry into the private channel, all the data that you're able to pull from that it is not only valuable for the moment, but for future endeavors.
I'll even add one more thing. And again, I think you guys are picking up at this point that there's so many reasons to keep coming back to the hub. There's so many reasons, whether it's to go see a picture that you posted, or to go and look at that profile of all the different contacts, or just to see what's coming up next, right? And so to me, whenever I'm a host provider, I'm creating hubs for people, I want them to know that these reasons are what's going to give you opportunities to sell future opportunities, future events, future products and services that you're selling. Each time they come in, if they see something new, it might catch their eye. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to engage with the users.
And just before we jump in, we're gonna actually show. I mean, we've got small tournaments. We've got PGA Tour who has used us, and we're going to show that. But I think one of the things when we're talking about this and you're seeing it all, that I think our webinar attendees need to know is how simple was this for you to stand up and really allow the brand to start serving. I mean, it was lightning fast. I remember you launched your hub, and then I felt like it was days, literally days, and it was ready to go.
Well, we were on a bit of a crunch. We met Troy, and he said that he had a tournament coming up, an event he really wanted to use the hub, and he was kind of nervous whether we would be able to hit the deadline. So we were able to turnkey it within about a week for him. From conception of just sitting down, asking questions, what are some of those colors? We received his logos. As you can see right here on this screen, you can see all the colors. Those are his colors. We were able to use his colors, his brand all over the site. I wanted it to look like his brand threw up all over it, because it made a connection to him, and it really did. He was very appreciative of it, and all of his users of the hub realized that his brand is doing something. And that was really exciting too. So yeah, 100%. We were able to knock it out within about a week. And I think we can even get it quicker if, in a pinch, But
Yeah,
And I know
I'm
Thomas
super
works for an
golf-focused.
agency, and he wants to put a disclaimer in here. He wants to be like,
that's
that is an exception. The
Yeah.
stars
exactly.
aligned, the approvals were there.
A lot
If
of people
anybody
follow
who's
a lot of
watching this is
emails.
probably going like, oh yeah, yeah. The point is it's not the tech that's usually, because it usually is when you're trying to build something, you got the devs, you got the tech, and they're the holdup. And in this case, it wasn't. In this case, we were able, because the way our platform works, to move lightning fast, right, Tom?
It
That
was
is correct. Like the InspireHUB platform is from a builder's perspective. Your traditional apps can take you months and months to build, but on this on the digital experience platform, through InspireHUB,
yes.
we were able to create an opportunity and turn it around in a timely manner.
Yeah,
Atypical for new clients that are coming into the experience and to the hub experience. We sit down with you, we personalize it with you. We want you to feel like we've spent years developing a platform
yeah.
for you to be able to share with your clients and your persons.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's really important, as you're talking about, building this app, is one of the things that we have been talking about is why do a charity golf tournament, right?
Mhm.
And having that benefit there. You work specifically with a lot of charity golf tournaments, and I mean, even at the PGA Tour, they're always aligned with worthy causes and all of that.
Mhm.
Thomas, do you want to talk a little bit about worthy cause marketing, and the power of it, and how to create that alignment between the tournament and the app and your sponsors and all of that?
Absolutely. I think that when you have a charitable endeavor behind any particular platform, the user is more engaged. The persons that you're working with are more engaged. So 9 out of 10 people are more likely to buy you know personable things from your organization because it supports a social cause or an environmental cause. It just
Mhm.
brings that connectivity together. And we also like to say that at least 46% of consumers, they pay attention to how brands behave in the marketplace. So the more engaging, the more positive uh, information that is attached to your brand, the more the consumer will be engaged to want to participate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
positive impact.
And I think one of the great things about the having a hub-based app too is that you can hand over the keys to those worthy causes to
Yes.
also be helping tell their story throughout the tournament. Where before it was, we're here to support and just put the logo of that charity. And the other part, of course, in our hub-based apps is that you can actually do the in-app fundraising during the tournament, and be collecting donations for the tournament itself, as part of that entire experience. So I'm just going to talk a little bit. I mean, one of the things that kind of launched all of this is you are already using the platform in other iterations for other businesses that you have, for other communication tools that you have. And as we were going through it, you were like, I need this for a golf tournament. And I believe one of the things I said to you is, yeah, already being used by PGA Tour and has been for a couple of years, with our agency partner in Colorado on media that has been out there. And I just want to talk a little bit about the experience with the Cologuard Classic and the PGA Tour, because this power that the PGA has been really leveraging for themselves, even prior, I think our very first year was actually coming into 2020, right at the cusp before, the pandemic came in. They really were so excited about the ability, the ease of being able to get this in front of their audience, being able to update it. And now the Turner Brothers Classic was the first time using it. Cologuard Classic has used us year over year. And one of the really great ease of use things is we did a complete refresh. Like we reskinned, we repainted the whole hub, and it only took a fraction of the time for the first tournament to the next tournament, because sometimes you have those graphic design elements that you want to change. But the really powerful piece is that all the previous year's attendees were already in the hub. They were already there. And so when the brands when they started putting their sponsorships in and the new content and leading up into, hey, don't forget Cologuard's coming up, they got to engage with all those attendees immediately. And it was just automatic. All they had to do was put up one post into the hub, and the newsletter automatically blasted out to all of the previous year's attendees. And it was a fractional amount of work. And of course, that allows you as an event organizer or a hotel owner or a golf course owner to be measuring the year-over-year growth. Because the challenge that happens is if you're going into all these different technologies, it's not that you can't do it. Of course, everybody has dashboards and billboards, but it's not as convenient when it comes to the data collection and the re-engagement and the PGA Tour. And my understanding is that they're going to be using us for a third year. So definitely loving the progressive web app technology and the platform for them. So just
think about, if I may add one other thing,
Yeah.
Carolyn, is the expanded audience opportunities for you. Again, I think it's a great experience for not only just the people who are coming into the event, but I'm able to share that for people who are not participating, in a sense, that are not going to be there, they still get the same opportunities to be present as if they were there as well. So the expanded audience opportunities is a great return in investment.
I want to also add, Carolyn, is the ability, because unlike a website, when a website, people can go into there and they can maneuver around, but you can't catch them, you can't capture them. With the hub, because they register, you can actually touch them after the tournament, sending them the newsletter based on things that are coming after a tournament. I think that's extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm. And I think, we're talking about these really broad, wide audiences. So it's not just about your tournament attendees or, those who are the visitors who are watching, but also all those who are at home. And I think this is the perfect time to talk about progressive web app technology. It's been around for years. I'm so proud that my development team was one of the first in the world to be working alongside of the geniuses with Samsung and Google and all of that back in the day. But we went out and we were taking a look. The landscape in digital is so dramatically shifted. Even in, not just because of COVID, even since COVID. And I think one of the kind of misunderstandings that people have is they kind of think that, when it comes to having some sort of app, number one, you either have to be on Android or Apple, and you have to be in a store. And the PWA has been around since 2015. That was when they launched it. And today, the other thing that's happening is there are 128 phone brands and 11,594 mobile phones. The different types, outside of just what you think of Android and Apple. And that means, all those people on phones that are not one or the other of those, you can now reach them with a hub-based app. And progressive web app technology is we're in a very exciting time. I mean, I've been dealing with this tech for years and loving it, and telling people, I felt like the voice in the wilderness. Nobody wanted to listen to me. I was out in the weeds and people were like, what are you talking about? And now it's become mainstream. And, I think the important thing for our webinar attendees to understand, if you don't understand what progressive web apps are, you are going to love them. We're talking 10 times the amount of engagement when they're used. And really what it comes down to is the installation process does not require you to go into an app store. It's detecting from the moment you hit the URL for your hub-based app, it is installing into all the devices. And we're recording this webinar, and it's really fresh that, Apple did announce that they're turning on, they've been holding back a couple of the key features, but they're holding out on us. But they just won. Apple just won a lawsuit, an antitrust lawsuit in Australia, because they said we're not in an antitrust because progressive web apps. And they announced that they are enabling all of web push in 2023. So the few things that haven't been yet working on Apple are now completely enabled. And of course, you know, Apple has been, I believe, since 2016, doing a cleanup of their store. They've been doing purges of semi-active apps and really putting new terms in place. And it got everybody in an uproar. But this is great news for marketers and those in hospitality and small organizations. And we're just going to go through a couple of those key things about how the difference between a PWA and a native app. As we've mentioned, you know, 50%, these are statistics from all over the world, 50% higher customer engagement. I don't know a tournament organizer or a sponsor that doesn't want 50% more just because you're using a better technology. 36% higher conversion rates than native apps. And this is, people are always boggled. Why is that? Well, let's talk about friction points, right? When you go into a native app, you got to go to the app store, open it up. Then you got to find it. Then you got to install it. Then you got to open it. And it's taking up precious memory on you. You don't have to worry about any of that. You are in the experience from the moment you click the URL, and 90% smaller on our phones. And of course, all of us love the fact that, you know, the native apps aren't, you know, that we're not having to give up all that precious memory into, you know, another app, because we want the app, but we don't want to give up space. And I love this screen here because it really shows the fundamental difference between native and PWA and why the dramatic shift into PWA. So on the left-hand side, we have the native app process that goes through and why it was so expensive. You know, it wasn't just expensive because it was expensive for no reason. It was expensive because you have to invest the man hours, the maintenance, the operations, plus all the costs that go in with being in an app store, a Play Store, being approved. Anytime there's an update in the operating system, you have to go and redo it all. And then with progressive web apps, it's develop the PWA and publish the URL. And that's exactly the experience that you had, that the Cologuard Classic with the PGA Tour has had. Lots of great experiences out there. And so let's just talk now about, you know, what can those expect who are in need of, you know, a golf tournament app. You know, what can they expect from Tee Fore The Green, taking them through the process to help get them launched using the InspireHUB platform, but you have created a really nice onboarding package for them that they can get started with, and, you know, today, really.
Absolutely, Carolyn. And the onboarding process, the brand alignment, the sponsorship requirements, again, all of those things as your purpose, your design, your plan. It helps to make your vision come to life. And that's what we want to do. We want to take your vision and then align it with the products and the technology, and then create an experience that will continue to provide you long engaging feedback and return on investment.
Yeah, I would say one of the things I want to share is that I'm in the process of creating my own traditional iOS app, and I've spent well over $100,000 in that. And I think a big part of the reason for that is because, like you said, we're basically starting from scratch. And when we start from scratch, obviously there's a lot of development. With the InspireHUB platform, the beauty that I love is that we don't have to spend so much time starting from scratch. So much is already there. We can focus more on customizing it and creating it more unique to the actual project or tournament or event that they're hosting. Their brand, really focusing on the brand colors, focusing on the content. Like you can see just on this screen right here, you have a daily pairing of sponsors. Each one of these are custom texts and fields and buttons that go to unique locations, all based on what they're doing and what you're doing as a event host. And so what we want to do is focus on just that. Now, we don't have to worry about all the coding and all that fun stuff. We can focus on really just understanding, like Thomas said, what your vision is, what's your dream, what are you trying to communicate to your users? How do you want them to engage? I feel like that is so much more fun than trying to figure out, okay, where is this button going to go and where is that button going to go? And and how is this thing going to work? I think to me, when you're trying to work on a tight schedule and sometimes a tight budget, those things are more important than all the details. And so just like Thomas says, we're going to go through a very quick and fun experience of getting all that good information and making sure that we can throw you together a demo really fast. And then once we get the demo going, then we can go with you back and forth and try to, critique it and fine tune it. But that's the beauty of this platform. And that's the amazing part of Tee for the Green. If you're hosting a golf tournament, we have the bones, we have the framework already ready, a proven concept with the Kohler Guard Classic, a proven concept with the Turner Brothers Classic. So, we're ready to just use that and just start focusing on building you the best hub that you've ever seen.
Well, that is that we're at time today, and so thank you so much, Henry and Thomas, for really presenting everything that you're doing with Tee for the Green. InspireHUB is very proud to be your engine behind the great work that you're doing and that you're bringing across the U.S. So for those who are in attendance, if you want to get a hold of Henry or Thomas, you can reach them at sales@teeforthegreen.com, and they'll be able to quickly get you a prototype and a demo. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing all the new tournaments that you're going to be doing in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn.